My lords, today we receive a report about a reptilian alien youth who was sold into slavery at a young age, but ended up breaking free, starting a rebellion, and ultimately leading her people to salvation. Nathara was less than 16 standards old when the debt collectors came. Her family was destitute, her world impoverished. Sold into servitude, she endured unimaginable hardship. Yet her will was unbroken, and when the opportunity came, she seized it. Staging a mutiny aboard the slaver's ship that she was upon, she led the survivors of the crash through those first difficult years. It was her strength that kept the peoples of Freedom's Landing together, her wisdom that forged a nation from broken chains. Free at last, some were born into bondage, others, crippled by debt, found themselves sold as indentured labour. But the technology of our former masters was not enough to save them. In secret, we planned our mutiny. During the brief, bloody struggle, our captors were killed, and their slave ship critically damaged. An emergency landing left us stranded on the surface of Freedom's Landing. Though we are made up of species from many different worlds, under my leadership, we have found common cause. In time, the damaged systems of our slaver vessel will be repaired, and its bounty of secrets, including the location of our former homeworlds, will be revealed. Our shackles are broken. Now, the work begins. We must start by repairing and salvaging what we can from our former prison, the slaver's ship. Regarding the computer core of the crashed slaver ship, we hope it will reveal the location of our former homeworlds, as well as the location of Minimar Specialized Industries, the slaver megacorporation who took us. Uniting against our former masters was easy. With a common enemy, we struggled together and fought as one. But with freedom, cracks have begun to appear. We are a people of many worlds. Over 10 species now live in this settlement. New factions are beginning to be founded. More will surely follow. As a people, how we will navigate these differences will determine our fate. During the mutiny, the slaver ship that carried us to Freedom's Landing was badly damaged. After the crash, our first priority was survival, and other than stripping the ship for resource, we gave it little thought. But now, the time has come to uncover the secrets of our former masters. To do so, it will be necessary to restore power to the ship's central computer. As a first step, our VIN engineers rigged a series of solar cells to the ship's outer hull. The command consoles in the bridge are now operational. Unfortunately, the engineering deck was sealed off during the crash, and breaking through the blast doors won't be easy. I'll say this much for MSI. The slave-holding scum know how to safeguard their secrets. Prying open the ship's blast doors has proven a monumental task. What few laser cutters we possess were designed for low-scale mining operations. Only by tunneling up from the deck below were we able to make any progress. The VIN engineers have been able to restore power to the ship's computer core. However, a significant chunk of hardware was damaged in the crash. It should be possible to repair and decrypt it, but doing so means putting even more of our strain on our already overburdened science team. Thanks to some incredible out-of-the-box thinking, our engineers have managed to restart the damaged computer core. By introducing a procedural AI into the ship's systems, we were able to engage it in dialogue. Essentially, we convinced the machine to work with us, rather than against us. This breakthrough has provided our scientists with new insights into the nature of data encryption. As we continue to make strides into the galactic stage, we hope this could prove invaluable. The damaged computer core has finally been repaired, and while most of the data is encoded, decryption efforts are already underway. If we are willing to put in the time and allocate the resource, it's only a matter of time before we have access to everything, including the location of our former homeworlds. In fact, we may have already learned something to our advantage. By triangulating the hyperlane dilations along the slaver ship's flight path, we have uncovered the galactic coordinates of MSI. We are now left with a choice: confront them, or leave them to their fate. The former slave ship has finally been completely repurposed and stripped of all valuable parts. We have come a long way since claiming our freedom. Our technology has advanced to the point that there are few secrets remaining, but we must never forget the sacrifices of the past. The crashed slaver ship will be converted into a public memorial, commemorating the birth of our new nation. Today was a marvellous day in the history of the people of Freedom's Landing. After the mutiny, there were some among us who said that we should go our separate ways. They argued that Freedom's Landing was not our home, that we were nothing more but a motley band of indentured assets, and the challenges before us were too great to overcome. But with the building of our first outpost, we've shown exactly what a free people can accomplish. The only limit is our own imagination. We push forward into the stars. As a people of many worlds, integration has not been without its challenge. However, the synthesis of a diverse artistic traditions has resulted in an incredible amount of creative energy. New products are being promoted. Countless artists and designers have emerged, all inspired to push the boundaries of expression. Domestic industry is thriving, and our people have never been more engaged with one another's culture. Not long after the first outpost was established, we have settled our first world. Our colony ship has found a rare patch in an open ground in the jungles of Castor Prime and made planetfall. The landing site is surrounded on all sides by lush vegetation, and sentry drones have been deployed to guard against predators. The colony ship has been permanently converted into the administrative headquarters of the new settlement, and its reactor core is in the process of being removed so that it may serve as the colony's temporary power source. Hundreds of small tents and prefab shelters have sprung up around the former starship's massive hull as colonists begin to disembark in the large numbers, the first of hopefully many new settlements on this alien world. Established factions and fledgling movements alike have taken an unusually keen interest in our new colony on Castor Prime. From the moment we announced settlement on this modest moon, nearly every political voice in the Free Peoples of the Fall has had something to say about it. Our analysts don't suspect that anything truly radical is taking root on Castor Prime, but they advise caution. It's clear our various political entities intend to campaign vigorously on this burgeoning world. I'm pleased to announce the data from the slaver ship's computer core has finally been decrypted, and we've been fortunate enough to identify several of our homeworlds. Feelings are mixed, but ultimately we will celebrate another step on the road to liberation. Our political scientists have been observing Castor Prime with keen interest. However, despite some feverish campaigning and a lot of recent fuss in the media, they forecast a fairly typical outcome for the colony's future. Our researchers note that no news amounts to good news here. Despite what some fringe elements in our society may claim, there are as of yet no signs that Castor Prime is being moulded into a hotbed of autocracy. Democracy remains a founding principle there, for now. Our people found a homeworld today. Assac III, at last, we have returned. As a people, we have experienced unimaginable trauma. Stolen from our homes, forced into bondage, the life of an indentured asset was often one of brutal suffering. Even for those who passed their days in relative comfort, the shame of indenture lingers. Now reunited with our kin, we can finally begin to heal. But in our joy, we must never lose sight of the fact that we are a people of many worlds. No matter our origins, every one of us deserves the chance to return home. Our former masters did their best to break us. Today, the whole galaxy is a witness to their failure. We are now finding homeworlds more regularly. My own still eludes me, but I still hold out hope. In casting off our shackles, we took the first step to becoming a people. However, after many of our people began to return to our former homeworlds, that sense of shared purpose has begun to wane. Popular media is awash with highly romanticized depictions of the simple life enjoyed on our former homeworlds before the arrival of MSI. Many people are starting to return. If we are not careful, this could have a serious destabilizing effect on our society. Despite this, I thought it was important to remind our people, no one has the right to tell them where to live. Freedom of movement is a fundamental right. If they wish to return to their homeworld, they may. This decision did come at some cost. I'm told we are suffering a brain drain. Some of our brightest minds have made the decision to relocate. I believe, however, this is a worthy sacrifice to uphold our basic principles, and despite the brain drain, new ideas on how to approach things are flourishing. People are stepping up to fill their place. We shall prevail. Today was a monumentous and terrifying day. It's one that has been widely anticipated for some time since we began to find our homeworlds. We have made contact with MSI. After the mutiny, some hoped that we could avoid detection, but it is now clear that MSI has been aware of our presence on the galactic stage for some time. Only the pursuit of profit has kept them from returning to Freedom's Landing to collect their legal assets. It seems we weren't worth the cost of travel. Despite this, they had a message for us. It reads, "Ah, our erstwhile assets. You have no idea how good it is to see you again. On behalf of the board at Minimar Specialized Industries, allow me to be the first to congratulate you on the progress you and your people have made. It is no small thing to have come so far from such humble beginnings. Should you need anything, don't hesitate to contact us. We hold no grudges. After all, less developed societies cannot truly be held accountable for their actions. In that regard, you are very much like children." A short message, condescending of course, and as ever, our defensive stations remain on alert. I'm happy to write today I finally found my own homeworld, where I was taken from so long ago. We have set up an observational post in orbit around Falmere III. From this vantage point we can celebrate the success of our kind and, if necessary, help them to mitigate their challenges. As we move forward, I ask myself a new question. Should we leave them in peace or help them reach the stars? Both choices carry risk and their own rewards, and I do long to return home. We found another homeworld today, Lysis 5. Something was very wrong here. From orbit we detected no signs of sentient life. Somehow the entire population had been eliminated. There were signs of struggle, and our best guess is that a robotic lifeform landed on the planet and exterminated all of the people who once lived here. A very disturbing thought. One of the scientists working at the observation post orbiting Falmere III, my old homeworld, has been reported missing. They were taking part in a covert mission to collect plant samples from the planet's surface, but did not return to the shuttle with the rest of their team. We have been conducting a limited search so as not to alert the pre-FTLs. So far, without success. Several weeks have now gone by, and we are receiving strange reports from our observers above Falmere III. One of the native kingdoms have rallied under a mysterious religious figure, and we have seen evidence of them using advanced technology, far beyond their current level of development. Could this be related to our missing scientist? Another few weeks passed, and we received a message from the missing scientist. It reads, "Greetings friends, it has been some time. Firstly, I want to apologise for all the effort you've put into looking for me. My disappearance on Falmere III was entirely intentional. The pre-FTLs here have come to see me as something of a god. And why shouldn't they? After much deliberation, I've decided to bring true civilization to these FTLs. I was tired of the short-sighted ethical constraints, tired of the ridicule I suffered at the hands of my peers. Most of all, I was tired of passive observation. What nonsense it is. I believe it is duty to interfere with pre-FTL cultures, to guide and shape them along a path of our choosing. Observing quietly from the sidelines is a shameful way of skirting responsibility. We of course demanded the scientist report for immediate extraction. He responded, "It is too late for that, I'm afraid. I'm done taking orders from those beneath my station. My intellect was at your disposal, but you chose to squander it. Here I am treated with the respect I deserve. This is my home now. With my knowledge and the technical schematics I brought with me, I would jumpstart this culture and usher in a golden age." He was accused of insanity. On the contrary, I've never been more lucid. The death of the free peoples of the Fall is inevitable. You'd have to be blind not to see the signs. It may take anything from a decade to a century, but your downfall will come after you have finished destroying yourselves with inaction. The galaxy will belong to vibrant young cultures, such as the one I am in the process of building. There is little more to say. I bid you farewell. What followed was some alarming reports from the surface of Falmere III. It looks like our rogue scientist is consolidating power. They have given one of the few rogue feudal kingdoms access to advanced weaponry, and they are now in the process of conquering the rest of the planet in their name. A plan has been proposed to forcibly extract them, but it will require significant ground forces, and there is no telling what effect this will have on the native population, as many have come to see him as a god. I ordered an operation to remove the scientist. I can only hope that he has not caused too much damage. I'm pleased to announce that we successfully extracted the rogue scientist from Falmere III. Hundreds of pre-FTLs were tragically gunned down when they launched suicidal attacks against our forces, futile attempts to protect their god. Our legal system will deal with the scientist, but the impact of events on the planet's population will be immense. They still possess some of our technology, and their deity has just been spirited away by invaders from the stars. Yet more terrible news from my once homeworld. During a clandestine mission to the surface, one of our shuttles was intercepted by a squadron of atmospheric fighters belonging to a nation state. A lucky missile hit disabled the shuttle's engines, and it crashed in a remote wilderness. We need to act fast to evacuate any survivors before the pre-FTLs reach them. All evidence of our presence must be removed. Sadly, we were unable to extract the survivors in time, and they were executed. The natives are becoming more violent. Earlier today, a barrage of surface-to-space missiles were launched from the surface of Falmere III, at our observation post. The station was utterly destroyed with no survivors. There can be no doubt that the pre-FTL civilization on the planet is continuing to advance at an incredible rate. Despite the fact that we removed the influence of their so-called god, the technology they gave them must have triggered a lasting scientific revolution. Inevitably, the people of Falmere III have finally reached out. They've made contact. Their message reads, "Spirits protect me. You look like our holy saviour, yet the differences are telling." They spoke of demons who would mimic their appearance and that one day would descend from the heavens to steal them away. The prophecy came true, and there is no doubt in my mind that it was your doing. Where is our holy saviour, wretched creature? I demand his immediate release. We calmly tried to explain that the scientist was not a god, and in fact just an alien attempting to act as one. Sadly, this did not go down well. The people of Falmere III responded, "Cease thy blasphemy. Slandering the name of the Holy Saviour is an unforgivable sin and punishable by death. It is only by their sacred implements that our civilization managed to achieve all that it has. I will forgive your trespass so long as you return the Holy Saviour to us." It seemed that they would not listen, so we had to explain that the scientist had been executed for the crimes against their people, and it appears that this did not go down very well. They threatened us, called us murderers, violent, treacherous demons, and cursed our empire. It appears that that's that. Due to the indiscriminate behaviour of a single individual, my people's homeworld is lost to us. For good. Many decades have passed. We have grown into a wonderful nation of all ethics and creeds, but MSI still remains. For too long we have lived in fear of our fallen masters. While we enjoy the benefit of a freedom justly earned, far too many continue to suffer. Some may decry this as a war of aggression. Nevertheless, the time has come for us to strike a blow against tyranny. No longer will the petty thugs and profit-mongers of the galaxy be allowed to apply their vile trade. Today, we march to war. And that, my lords, is where the tale ends. If we understand the history correctly, around this time multiple empires attacked and brought down MSI together. It seems that the galaxy had tired of their despicable action. Thanks for watching, folks. If you want to hear another story, please click the video on screen now.